Talk podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about university and whether going to university is right for you. Totally up to you. My name's Sean, and my co-host is...
Yeah, I'm Luke, and we're just going to talk about university. We're going to talk about our own experiences, what we found helpful and stuff, how we chose to go to the university and stuff, and just see if we can help anybody with their choices and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive right in. Okay, so Luke, first question for you. We'll go with what university you went to.
Well, you know that because you went to the same one.
That is also true. For those that don't know, we both went to Manchester Met University.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Manchester Met University. Now, obviously, before you chose to go to Manchester Met University, you would have gone through like a bit of a process until, and got to that final decision on why you chose to go to Manchester University. So just give us a little bit of insight into why you came to that decision to go to Manchester Met University.
Yeah, so I actually had a year out. So I finished sixth form, and I had a year out, and I just worked full time for a year, and that was just to find out, what I actually wanted to do, because I was still and ahhing if I wanted to go to uni, still and ahhing what I actually wanted to do. But I always loved sport. Like, sport has always been my thing. Sport, going to the gym, like stuff like that. That's always been like a thing of mine. So I was working at McDonald's, and I was working for a year, and I remember the day I decided I was going to go to uni, and I was working at McDonald's full time, and the manager shouted at me for some reason. I can't remember what it was, and I was just like, "Oh, I've had enough of this. I'm going. Like, I'm going to uni." Like,
free chicken nuggets.
Yeah, like it was something like petty. It was like, "I want to go at me for," and I was just like, "I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going." So yeah, I literally applied that week. I applied for a couple of unis, but it was definitely I wanted to go to a city, and obviously Manchester being one of the biggest cities, I definitely wanted to go there. And I wanted to go somewhere that was close to home but far away, that you've moved away. So I didn't want to go to Leeds, because Leeds. I live in North Yorkshire, so Leeds would have been too close. Where I haven't really moved out. But Manchester, it was only hour and a half away, but it meant I'd officially moved out. But if I needed to come home, I could. But I'd moved out and stuff. So yeah, that's why I chose Manchester. And then just obviously researching the nightlife and stuff, and that was definitely high on my priority list. And then I found the course that would work for me as well. So I love sport and I love business, and they combine the two with sport management. And I thought, yeah, that's definitely something for me. So that's the reason I chose it. What about you?
Fair play, man. Well, for me, I had different options as well. I applied for like other unis like Bournemouth and Birmingham and a couple of others like that. I'd actually got into 3 universities. I'd got into Bournemouth and Birmingham. But for me, realistically, I didn't go to the Manchester Met based on the rankings. I also, like you, for example, I didn't want to be, I wanted to be pretty close to family as well, because I haven't just got family in London, where I'm based. I've got family up north as well, in like Leeds area as well. So I didn't want to just sell myself. I didn't want to go to Birmingham, which was just in the middle, which was quite far in between. As much as the train only takes like an hour and a half to London or to Birmingham, etc. And if I went to Bournemouth, it would be like way out of the way, and I don't know anyone. So, those are also defining factors. So I ended up at Manchester Met. Having said that, one of my cousins did actually talk to me about that and suggest it anyway. And went to the open day, and the open day was pretty good. It was a long drive, obviously, but it was a pretty good drive. It was pretty good. Going to the university, I liked it. Like you, I also did sports management. However, I did a foundation year. Well, I say a foundation year. It was 2 foundation years after I messed up the first one. But these things happen. Done it again. So I ended up starting, instead of me being in the same class as you, I ended up being behind you by a year. So we ended up doing the same course, which is funny enough. So, yeah. Also, here's a good question for you. So when the day that you actually, if you think back, the day you actually went to uni, when you were driving, when you got driven maybe by your parents to university, for example, right? When you're on the motorway, did you see a lot of other cars of like students going to different universities?
Yeah, 100%.
And just utter black bags in the back.
Yeah.
You ain't coming back for 3-4 years.
Yeah. We went to like the supermarket as well to like obviously my mum and dad bought me like first week shopping and stuff and bought me like loads of stuff and literally just packed full of mums and dads and students, just buying them all sorts like duvets and whatever, like TVs and everything. Yeah, it was mad. But yeah, the first day I was so nervous, like literally so nervous because at that time I wasn't a very confident person and I was so nervous. And I went into my flat. We like signed all the documents from my flat, went to my flat, and I just remember being so nervous. And my mum bought me a crate of Stella, and I literally was just smashing Stella off just to like get some confidence and just to calm the nerves. And I was absolutely. My mum didn't want to leave me, and she was like, "Oh, you know." My brother and my dad came as well, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to go to like a bar or something with us? Do you want to go to a cafe?" And I was like, "No, I'm fine. I'm just sat in a corner just drinking." And then I met my first housemate and stuff. And then once I like met my housemates and stuff, it was fine. Like the nerves like calmed down. Then we went to it was like the first night of in the like Union Bar, and we went to that and got drunk, and that like sorted me out. Like, I was fine after that.
The rest was history, innit?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but fair. No, I'll be honest. I'll never forget like my first day. First of all, we were late, so that didn't help because we were meant to turn up. I remember this was like clearly. I'm sure I got up at like 6:30 in the morning. So I can't understand for the life of me, if you get up there early, how you still end up late when you have the whole day to get to Manchester. But then on the flip side, there was so much traffic on the motorways and stuff like that, and we stopped off and stuff like that. We had to pick up stuff. We got there. We were meant to get there by maximum 5 o'clock in the evening. I kid you not, I got there 5:30. 5:30, and I was just like, how has this happened? It's only meant to be a 3 or 4 hour drive, and we were just late. And then I will never forget, like 2 of my old university friends, they were stood outside the halls, but they'd got there from morning, so they'd been drinking all afternoon. Fair play to them, they were solid drinkers. So what they decided to do was help me like move into my flat. But I think one thing that people need to understand, if they're going to university, is a lot of people, most people are in the same boat. So as much as you're nervous to go to university, don't that's fine, because everybody else is kind of in the same boat. Especially if you're living on campus in the first year or whatever. Like a lot of people in the same boat, they're nervous too. It's the same for everyone, So you just gotta ride the wave the first couple of weeks. You'll be fine. So,
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a good question: did your course, sports management, did that live up to your expectations?
Bits did and bits didn't. I knew the problem is what I found with the course that we did is I was very keen on like sport and business, and there were loads of other factors that they put into the course which I didn't really want to do or didn't need to do. I think overall the course was good, but I think there were a lot of elements of it that I don't think I needed. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was in the course that I know that I would never use again. So I think it was a bit of a waste. There were some really good elements to the course, and there were some bits that like I definitely use and I still use and stuff. But there were definitely a lot of elements that I definitely won't use again. I mean, the problem like with first year, with the course, when you're doing the course, especially with the course that we did, the first year, it's just you're more learning how to write an essay. You're more learning how to write a report. It's the learning process of it's more about meeting people, meeting friends, and stuff like that. They don't really get into the greater depths of the course until you get into second and third year, and that's where you really start hitting it hard. The first year is more like more of a there's a lot more socials, a lot more parties, a lot more you're doing stuff like that. So I think with the course, like there was a lot of good aspects, but if you said like before I went to uni, would you think that course would have been what it was? Then I said no. I'd have thought it'd be different. Do you know what I mean? I think and a lot of the course as well, like you were put in with other courses doing that similar stuff, and that stuff didn't really relate to the stuff that I wanted to do. So yeah, what do you say?
No, I think I agree actually, because I think I was a bit disappointed in the course really. It wasn't particularly that great. There were certain things units on there that for me didn't make any sense and just kind of put you to sleep. There's some times where it made me think to myself, I'm gonna have to pay. Like honestly, sometimes during actual class actually, we would be learning stuff, and it would be like, damn, we're paying all this money to come here just for this. And it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, I will never forget. But this, I have to say this. Like, I'll never forget that we did a 1 hour lecture and a 2 hour tutorial in my actual second year on how to give somebody feedback. And then we did another one on how to give somebody a review. And I was thinking to myself, like, if you're going to go over something like that, surely, if you were going to do it, it would be in your first year, at least your first year, and not going into your second year. You know what I mean? It's just, I just thought stuff like that, it was just a waste of money. But on the flip side, at the time I was only paying £3,000 last year before it went up, so got lucky in that one. So that also needs to come into things. But I think that particular unit, they actually took it out of they actually took out the curriculum the year after.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the money was never a problem. Like you mentioned, like the loan and stuff. That was never actually a problem for me because I always knew that if I didn't get a job where I wasn't earning enough, then I wouldn't have to pay it back anyway. So that was never. It's like fake debt where you do have to pay it back, but only if you're earning a certain amount. And if you're earning that, then you're earning enough to pay it back. So that was never an issue. The finance was never an issue for me. But it's when you do look back and you think, oh, I actually have paid like. I think I paid like 40 or 1,000 for the degree, and it's like when you've paid that much, you've some like you would go to you'd have a lecture and then you'd have your appointment with your tutor, and it'd be like take like 5 minutes, and then she's like, oh yeah, that's about it for today, and you just be like,
yeah,
I paid like 40 or grand for this.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's just, and then on top of that, you got to think as well. You have to get these textbooks. They're asking you to pay all this huge money
Textbooks
for these textbooks. That's like over £100. I remember buying a textbook in my first year. I can't remember even using it.
No, I took loads I didn't use.
What's up? You know what I mean? But these days, a lot of things are online, and you got tons of ebooks and stuff like that. So
yeah,
you know.
To be fair, I use the library quite a bit as well. The library quite good for stuff like that. But yeah, they do tell you to buy the amount of stuff they told me to buy, and then you end up buying it. You never use it.
Promo, isn't it? Promo. Teachers promo. See, as I always say, this is why we can't have nice things. Right, okay, moving on. Right, accommodation. Let's start off with accommodation and what it's like. Because obviously, living in accommodation, not even just your first year, obviously, like some people were there maybe for the 4 years of uni, maybe in different accommodations, or somebody moved into a house after. But what was your experience of like living in your accommodation?
So the first,
just accommodation.
Yeah, the first year I lived in a flat with 3 other lads, and it wasn't too bad to be fair. Like we had our own personal toilet and stuff, our personal bathroom and stuff, so we didn't have to share. So that was quite good. You have to share a kitchen. The only thing is, if you've got a messy housemate, it's just a nightmare. Because I had one messy housemate from America, and he was just an absolute nightmare. Like he'd just be. I remember we all went away for Easter, and obviously, because he lived in America, he stayed there, and we all went away for Easter and came back, and there was just like there's toenail clippings like all over the floor, like in the kitchen. They were like, there were like potato skins everywhere, like from I don't know what he was doing, but and then we go into his room, and his room was just disgusting. Like he's below his sink, was just full of like empty toothpaste wrappers and stuff, and that's like mad. And so yeah, if you get a dirty housemate, it's horrible. And because I live with lads, it was if you live with a girl, girls are normally cleaner. Like so, if you live with a girl, it was alright. But living with just lads, it was just like, oh, this is horrendous. So yeah, I had 4 lads who were my housemates. One of them left halfway through because he just didn't like uni. And then I had a lad from America and then a lad from Liverpool as well.
Oh, fair play. Oh, fair play, man. For me, I lived in accommodation a couple of times. My first foundation year, it was me. It was 2 guys. Well, one of them, and 2 girls. Lovely. It was really nice. Like they were such nice people. Everyone was different in their own unique way. Everyone came from different cities in the country. But honestly, my housemates were awesome. You know, I ain't got a bad word to say about any of them. They were great. You know, if it came to probably the most messy, it was probably me, to be quite honest with you. No, I'll be honest, yeah. So, and they were excellent, you know. We had some fun times, you know, and stuff like that. It was really good, you know. When you got solid, good housemates, you know, and even pretty much most people that lived in the same block as me, and the block next to us as well. That everyone was just lovely, and like, a lot of people were nice and friendly there, you know. So, you know, we're great housemates, great flatmates, you know, next to us and stuff like that. Yeah, lovely people. Having said that, I did some odd, questionable things actually in the house. Actually, I got a quick story. Actually, I'll never forget this. There was one time I was cooking rice, right, and you know, those days when practicing, even though rice is really easy to cook. I should really have known better. I'd made my food, my chicken and rice and peas. Food was perfect. Gone back into my room. I'll never forget it. I was dancing to Michael Jackson on the way into my room. Don't know why, it was just on. But then the alarm went off in the kitchen. I was thinking, what's happening here? Oh, I left the hob on, didn't I? And the rest of the rice had burnt up. So when I went to turn the pan over to get the rice out to put it in the bin, it was stuck. So yeah, that was one of my fun experiences of living in accommodation. But the second time I lived in accommodation in my final year was pretty good. I had some good housemates as well. You know, they were nice, friendly people. No problems there. And some of them were good cooks as well. I'm not lying. The food was really good. You know, nice, friendly people. Never had any problems at all, really. I was in a different halls, but yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Okay.
I've got a story for cooking. So we're now in first year. Obviously, you don't know how to cook, and my mum and dad bought me it was like a microwavable curry or something like that, and but it was like wrapped up. So I put it in the microwave, and I was like preparing something. I can't remember what I preparing something. I just looked at Colin in my eye. I could see this like in the microwave, and I could see it sparking. And I was like, what's going on? And I put tinfoil in the microwave. I didn't realise. And tinfoil exploded in the microwave, didn't it? So yeah, I almost broke the house, broke the flat. But yeah, I took it out in time.
Hey, that's funny, man. That's funny. All right, cool. Right, moving on to living in a house. The difference to living in your experiences of living in a house compared to just accommodation.
Yeah, so third year moved into a house. Second year I lived with 9 lads, and we got a house room. It was called Student Cribs. I don't know if they're still operating, but it was like a luxury house. So we paid a little bit extra. But I was like a last minute add-in, so I didn't get it sorted out till literally the last minute. And then one of my mates said, "Oh, that we've got a spare room if you want to stay with us for a year." I said, "Yeah, it's fine." So I moved in with 9 lads, well, 8 lads, including me. And then it was Student Cribs. So it was like a luxury house, and it had like 40-inch TV, and it had like TVs in every room, and it was like done out luxury, but it was like, what's the best way to describe it? It was done out nice, but like they prepped it up to look nice, but it wasn't. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so we were paying a lot more than what you should be paying for a house because it looked so nice, but when you realise we paid loads more for nothing. Like, do you know what I mean? And then we got robbed as well, so we had our TV nicked, and I remember coming downstairs, and now I used to train early in the morning with one of my housemates, so came downstairs to get my breakfast, literally just go like that, and I just looked, door wide open, TV, massive 40-inch TV had been nicked, and yeah, mad. And that was all right. But again, I lived with 9 lads, so it was just messy. Like, it was so messy, and like we had like, it was like Dirty February, we called it, or something. And it was like where we all protested against washing the pots. So we literally, and we had a dishwasher, and we all protested against each other. None of us would do it, so you just kept building up, and it got to the point where you'd just look for the plate that was like not the dirtiest, and you just use that for your like dinner. It was disgusting. And then we ended up washing all the pots in the bath because it was that bad. So we had to wash all the pots in the bath, like all of them, like cleaning all the pots in the bath. So yeah, it was just messy, like so messy. But and then the third year, we lived together, and we had a house. We got a really cheap house, Like we got the cheapest house we could find, and the kitchen was in like a dungeon. So you have to go down into the kitchen. It was like the kitchen, the living room was like in a dungeon. You didn't even have a sofa. It was just like a mattress on the floor. And yeah, and then and yeah, but it was like a massive, like 4-story house, wasn't it? And but it was really like the woman that owned it didn't put any money into it, and like the carpets were like shredding, like all gritty. The walls were like so bad, and yeah, it was like that was like so. I went from like luxury, like paying extra, to like literally cheapest house we could possibly find, and cheap as anything. Because we went for a house, didn't we? And then we got taken away last minute, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember? Yeah, we got they took it off the market in the last minute, so we literally were just looking for anything, and it was flooded as well, wasn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
The kitchen and the living area was literally flooded when we said we'd have it, and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll get that sorted out for you," and they did sort it out for us. But yeah, it was like a dungeon. We had a mouse as well, didn't we? We had a mouse in the kitchen.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that mouse in the kitchen when everyone decided we all took cover and we jumped off the floor and Latin was it was in the kitchen, so we were all either on a chair or on the countertops.
Yeah, and then I remember because I used to study on late at night, and I came down at like 3 a.m. to make our coffee, and I remember I was like tired. I'm making this coffee, and I just remember hearing this little footsteps running across, and I was like, right, I'm off to bed. I'm not staying up for this. I hate it. Yeah.
No, that house was alright. I like the thing about the house. I liked, to be fair, I loved the fact that they had huge rooms.
Yeah, they're massive. Yeah,
the rooms are really good, but then it's just like you got such huge rooms, and then you've got such an unbelievably tiny kitchen down in the basement. And
it was on your head. Like, luckily we're both short, so it didn't really affect us. But if you were above 5'11", I'd say you had to duck down, keep on your head.
So it was a bit confusing down there, but apart from that, the house structure was interesting. But the bedrooms were brilliant, but the size wise. But apart from that, it was just dodgy house. I remember my second year foundation, repeat year, we'll just call it that, a foundation year. I was live with 3 other guys. 2 of them I already knew, and we were cool. In my 4th year, where did I live? I can't remember where I lived in my 4th year. Let's come back to me on that one. I can't remember. I lived somewhere. Oh no, sorry. That's what I'm missing out on. Sorry. That's it. In my, I lived in. I lived with a couple. I lived with 2. I lived in a house of 6. Sorry, I got it all wrong. In my first year was accommodation. Second year I lived in a house of 6. Third year was a house of 4. 4th year, how many lived in our house?
6 of them.
6, and then after I lived in a house of 4. So my actual second year with a house of 6, it was guys and girls. That was actually a nice house because it was, everyone was clean and looked after. Was really good. I was probably the messiest as usual, but yeah, that was a very nice house. Obviously, I did some questionable, silly things. There were some questionable things in the house that weren't great, like the oven door. I've never seen this in my life, where you just open the oven door gently to pull it down, and it just completely just comes off its hinges. So that happened a couple of times. So I wasn't the only one that did it. I'm sure I did it twice, but I wasn't the only one that accidentally pulled the oven door off its hinges. And first of all, when I did it, I was thinking, okay, what's happened here? Have I gained some extra muscle? I was like, okay, odd, but obviously not. And it just broke. So that happened. Another funny thing that happened in that house was, so you can tell, look at me, I've got quite long hair right now. I thought the correct time to wash my hair would be at like 12 o'clock at night. So I washed it and then started drying it and using the hairdryer, put it on the highest heat possible. I don't know why I didn't notice that my room was steaming up fully, but the house alarm went off at like 1 a.m. in the morning. And you think people have got, other housemates, they've got to go to bed, they've got to sleep because in the morning they have to go to work or to university, and they can't. They're running up and down the house because I think they think somebody was burgled the house. And then I just stopped. I just looked around my room and I was thinking, oh snap, where's all this steam come from? Oh, it's me. I had to keep quiet. And then someone opened one of my housemates opened the door. I didn't open the window. One of my housemates opened the door. I was like, Sean, I was like, oops, my bad. I'm sorry. I hold it L for that one. My bad. So yeah, that was my experiences of there. Okay, moving on. Now we get the segment where we've discussed it. We've discussed what's happened at university and stuff like that. Now, reasons why you should go to uni and reasons why we shouldn't go to uni. So, the reason why we should go to university, what is your feelings behind it? What do you think?
I think it's from my own personal experience. Like the reason I'm glad I went to uni is because it's an experience of moving out. Like if I'd have stayed at home, I probably would have stayed with my parents. I wouldn't have moved out. Like I wouldn't have, fend for myself. It's the experience of, you learn to cook for yourself. You learn how to meet new people. You gain confidence. You learn things about yourself that you didn't know. And there are obviously the good bits. If like obviously you learn things on your course. I have. Although I don't think the course was the best, the best ever, I still have learned things on the course. That I can still use. And you meet people like you meet. I mean, for me personally, I've met my best friends I've met from uni. Like I've met you, I've met my other friends and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? And you meet people from all walks of life. Like if I'd just stayed where I live, I wouldn't have met anybody different. They all come from the same place. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think that's definitely the positive things about it. The negative things. Yeah, that is a negative thing. Like it is a negative thing. The fact, like, I mean, me personally, I've not really used. I got a 2-1 degree and I've not really used it yet. Like I might still use it, but at this moment in time, I've not used it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So in that respect, yeah, would I have been better picking up a trade or would I have been better doing something else? Do you know what I mean? Mm. I think would I ever say, do I regret going to uni? No, I don't at all, because I've met the people I've met, I've learned the stuff that I've learned, and it's got me onto the where I am now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't regret that. And so if you say, do I think it was worth it? Then 100%. Do you know what I mean? 100% it was worth it. But weighing everything up, obviously it could have been better, but then that's through me as well. So like what I wanted to say as well is that there's certain things that I wish I would have done at uni. So I wish I'd have taken a few more opportunities up. I wish I'd been more confident, and not. I used to hide away quite a lot, and I wish I hadn't done that and I'd been a bit more open, a bit more, wanting to try different experiences and stuff. So I definitely don't think I fully embraced uni as much as I could have done. But so the question of, is uni worth it? For me, yes, it was. But I wish I would have done more. Like I wish I'd have done more and stuff. What do you think?
For me, why you should go to university, right? I think the good thing about going to university is, it depends actually, because some people like you did say, some people would prefer living at home. Some people would prefer living out. For me, I personally think if you go to university, you should go to live out. Because first of all, I see it as you go to find yourself. When I mean find yourself, like you're living away from home, finding what getting your own routine, doing things by yourself, being more independent, stuff like that. The stuff that is not related to the course, the social side, the social aspects, and stuff like that. Being able to find yourself. That's why I think going to university is a great idea. The course, like I said, the course was a bit disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit disappointing, but I guess you make a lot of new friends as well, friends for life, etc. As you said. You also, you learn a lot from other people, as well, and stuff like that, from their experiences and stuff like that. You have a great time social wise. You might even join a society. You might even be a captain of a football team that that was created by you. So you never know. And stuff like that. There are some great highlights and moments that you can have as well.
Oh yeah, I think as well, like the memories and stuff, and it's like going back to what you just said. Like we had a football team, and like the laughs that we used to have on that football team, and like I still keep in contact with like still come to you and a couple of others of them because they are like really good friends of mine. And if it wasn't for that, like we wouldn't have met. Like I wouldn't have met, my other friends and stuff. And like we used to have such a laugh like doing that. And that's the thing, you can't put a price on that. Do you know what I mean? You can't put a price on the laughs that you have and just the banter you have and the memories you have. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't regret going to uni at all. Do I think that there is probably better options out there for your education? Probably. Like if you want to take up a trade or you want to like do an apprenticeship, you might do better through that than going to university. But for me, like I don't regret going to university at all because it makes you the person that you are. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's really important. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I absolutely agree. So moving on to the final section is tips that people need to survive if they go to university. Tips and hints. So if you've got any tips or advice, maybe.
First one, learn how to cook. That's definitely the first one. Learn how to cook. When I first went to uni, I didn't have a clue what I was doing with cooking, and I used to just eat rubbish. Like literally, when you think, obviously, I'm a personal trainer now, and when I think back to what I used to eat, I'm just like, mate, like, what were you doing? Like seriously, like yeah, so bad. Like my diet was literally terrible. I used to live off like started off living off mushroom and toast. Then I went on to just pizza. Then I went on to pizza and McDonald's and like kebabs, and it was just I was so fat in the first year. It's a nightmare. But yeah, so definitely learn how to cook and learn. Obviously, if you're 18, you're not going to uni and stuff. Learn, what coming from a personal trainer. Look at what foods to eat. The best foods to eat. The better your diet, the better you're going to be at your studies. The better you're going to be. Stuff like that. Another one is be yourself 100%, be yourself with everything that you do, and be confident as well. And that's, like I said, that's a big regret of mine, but I wasn't confident enough. So try and be as confident, just fake your confidence and just be as confident as you can. And if an opportunity comes your way, just take it, just have a go with it. If you get offered to do something, do it. And if it fails, it fails. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's the best way to look at it. And that's, like I said, that's a big regret of mine, but, that I didn't do that. Obviously, research your courses and stuff, and make sure it's the right course for you. I think definitely with the course that we did, it was very it was sport management, so sport business, and it's not like a degree that you can walk into a job in. Do you know what I mean? Like it was very. We learned a lot of stuff, and we learned some good stuff, but it wasn't a course that you can walk straight into a job. So that's what I'd probably say, that try and look for a course that what job you're going to be going into, and what career path you're going to go into, so you can walk into a job straight away. Do you know what I mean? Don't join. This is coming again from a personal trainer. Don't join a uni gym because they're just rubbish and they're always packed and you'll never get on anything. So never join them. And just don't party too hard. Like when in first year, I literally went out 4 times a week, if not more. And I'd lived off takeaways and just going out. And I just went too far with it. Like it got to the point where you're just drinking for the sake of drinking. And it's good to party and it's good to have a laugh. But have your time in freshers where you literally go out every day for like 2 weeks, and then just a couple of nights a week and just be a bit more chilled about it. Do you know what I mean? Because it does do you in. Because I remember like. One day I was literally so hungover, I literally couldn't get out of bed. I was literally just in bed the whole day. And it's like you lectures that you're paying for, you're not socialising with people because you're just like in bed hungover. Like, do you know what I mean? So that's the only thing I say is party, but just don't party too hard.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What are you saying?
Yeah, for me, no, I echo a lot of those. Of what you said, I totally agree. I also think budget. Make sure you budget correctly. You must budget correctly because. Honestly, because you got to understand that as much as this is probably the first time that you're going to be getting a lot of money coming to your account, especially if you're living out, a lot of money is going to be coming into you. Make sure you budget correctly. Make sure you pay your rent on time and your bills, especially after you go into your first year, going to second year, third year. Make sure you budget correctly, stuff like that. Make sure you got enough, food. And then the party and all that. Make sure try and budget how much on what you're gonna use that on a night out, if possible. Maybe if you are gonna do a night out, maybe as a tip, become a club promoter. Just saying. you did that.
No, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. No, I agree with that, and I wish I did more of that. Yeah, because you meet people as well. Like you get cheaper drinks, you meet people. Like 100%, I agree with that. Yeah. To be fair, like all my mates who've gone to uni stuff, I've said that to them, you know, get a job as well. That's another one. You know, get a part-time job, and if it's club promoting, if it's working in a gym, if it's, you know, just working at Morrison's or whatever, get a part-time job, because that really does come in handy. Just having a bit of extra income coming in and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Just absolutely. That's totally true. Because one bit of advice, I always remember this, that one of my lecturers said, the best bit of advice I ever heard was, make sure you get a job at university, because the difference is, once you finish university, if you're going up against somebody else who has the same degree as you, but maybe even the same grade as you, but you have an experience working in a particular field, you've got the experience over them, so they might choose you because of that. So make sure, honestly, get a job, even as a weekend job. It doesn't matter if it's a promotion job, it's on the side that can help you. Also, think about the people you're hanging with as well. That's a big one, because you want to, you know, because sometimes people that go to university, it can turn sour very quickly if you go down the wrong path. So think wisely, choose your friends wisely. That's such a common saying, but it's so true. Choose your friends wisely. Get yourself organized. You must try and get yourself as organized as possible. Because for me, my organization was poor. But obviously, that's the whole point of going to university, to find yourself. So get yourself organized. Obviously, enjoy it. Have a great time. But organization is key. You know, try and work what you're going to do around your lectures and stuff like that, so you don't miss them. Especially I know Freshers Week is Freshers Week. First couple of weeks, you're going to go out and party hard. But those first couple of weeks, just to settle you in to go to your classes, very important. So, you know, make sure you enjoy it, and just have a great time. But like I said, if university's not for you, that's not a problem. There's tons of other like diplomas and stuff like that you can do on the side, or apprenticeships. I think that's one of the great things about the UK, that they have these kind of schemes that maybe other countries don't have. You can actually do other stuff, you know, where you don't actually have to go to university, where you can get, if you're interested in other things, you can do these other diplomas and apprenticeships and stuff like that. So that's what I think is great about university. About the UK in that regard. So yeah. Any last words or stories or comments or anything to say on?
No, I think you've got it spot on, to be fair. Yeah. Just wise up about your decisions and stuff, and you know, like you said, research as much as you can, and just think about what you want to do and stuff.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, well, that was another episode of Let's Talk. Thank you for joining us on the Let's Talk University edition from Sean and Luke.
Yeah, and please like, subscribe, put in any comments. You know, if you want to see something a bit different, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, you know, let us know your feedback. Like we said, we're learning, and you know, we want to make it as good as we can. So yeah, any comments would be much appreciated.
Absolutely. Awesome. Everyone, take care. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.